The intent of this clip is to examine something known as empirical formula with chemical compounds. Below we have listed a series of examples. Those identified as no would be things that are not empirical formulas. Something identified as a yes would be an example of what we would say is an empirical formula. At this point, pause the video and see if you can identify and write down what would be the identifying trait or feature that makes something an empirical formula. Now, what did you notice was common amongst all those labeled as yeses as being an empirical formula versus those that were not empirical formulas? Now, if we noticed, all the empirical formulas were in simplest terms. They could not be simplified or reduced. This was what makes an empirical formula is the lowest whole number ratio of atoms in a chemical formula. For example, we have something like benzene C6H6. This would be known as its molecular formula. Simplifying C6H6, it reduces to CH, telling us that benzene has a 1-to-1 ratio of carbon to hydrogen atoms in its formula, and this would be known as the empirical formula for a benzene molecule. Now, with some compounds, such as water or ethanol, we have our molecular formulas, and the empirical formula for both of these is the same as the molecular formula, in that the molecular formula cannot be reduced or simplified anymore. So in water, which is the molecule is H2O, the simplest whole number ratio of atoms for that formula is also H2O. So it's possible for a molecular formula and an empirical formula to be one and the same. But in either case, an empirical formula is always the simplest and lowest whole number ratio of atoms that can be expressed for a formula.